Our Story Productions presents the Cocklebur Morning Show, where we weed out the big stories from throughout Sweet Swine County with Bobby Ray and Sally Sue.
Oh, thank you for all being here. And oh, wow, we have a fantastic show today.
Yes, we do. Pretty excited
wonderful.
about it. And you know, Sally Sue, KLUK TV is now one of the top rated stations with all the shows are in the top.
Really?
Not only ours, obviously, Cocklebur Morning Show.
Of course,
but
that's a given.
I hate to say it, but the women of Sweet Swine are also up there.
Oh, really?
But you got to give them credit where credit's due.
I suppose.
And then, of course, the new late night show is also doing extremely well. Split Hoof Tonight, that is.
Yes.
And, of course, you know, who could ever forget, As the Corn Grows, #1 in the weekly survey. Yep.
That was so exciting.
Yes.
And, you know, we have to thank everyone for watching all of our shows. And we have to give a special thanks to Our Story Productions for airing all the KLUK TV shows outside Sweet Swine County.
And you know, Sally Sue, I just heard that KLUK Productions are going south. We're going to start going south with these programs.
South of the border?
Kind of. No, yeah, well, it'll be seen in Iowa. I guess you could say that's south of the border.
Well, that's south.
That's south of the border.
Oh, that's very exciting.
It is exciting. Yes,
Bobby
indeed.
Ray. Wow.
Yep.
Oh, well, enough. We better get our show started.
Yes, we should.
I suppose you had another great weekend.
When do I not? I'm telling you. I can't wait for them to allow us to tell you about my trip to Jamaica. Woo! That makes
that's a little too
we won't
fabulous.
go there. We won't go there.
That's too fabulous.
I do want to tell you about where I went this weekend. In fact, I think it's time for
Bobby Ray's Weekend Adventures.
All right, this weekend I went to the Pipestone Waterfowl Festival.
Can you say that real quick?
No.
Oh, okay.
But thanks for asking. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about Pipestone. It's a very, very nice community. Let me read from my notes.
Okay.
Pipestone, Minnesota is a community whose people not only preserve the past, but in many ways live it. Locals turn out in force to celebrate the annual Water Tower Festival, which commemorates the community's restored landmark. Really? One of only 2 remaining concrete water towers in the entire state of Minnesota.
Really? I never knew that there was such a thing.
I didn't either.
Wow.
Can you imagine trying to get the concrete up there?
Wow. Wow.
This year's celebration will be held June 24th through the 27th. The Calumet players will perform the Music Man all 4 nights.
Ooh,
that ought to be great.
Nice.
There is a street dance on Friday night, a parade, an art and craft show, and the Chuck Wagon Cook-Off on Saturday, just to name a few of the things going on during this great event.
Oh, that sounds good.
There are lots of great activities throughout the 4-day event, and Pipestone welcomes everyone, whether for a day or the weekend. And if you need additional information, please contact their Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Center at 800-336-6125 or check their website at www.pipestoneminnesota.com.
Wonderful. It sounds like a really fun event.
Oh, I think it'll be great, and I'm
Oh,
planning
wow.
on going, and you should too. Maybe we get in
Yes.
that street dance.
Maybe. Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I think that'd be
We should
great.
tear up the pavement, you know?
Exactly.
Absolutely. And there you have it, another exciting report from
Bobby Ray's Weekend Adventures.
Bobby Ray, that was great.
Yes, it was.
Now, what do you say we bring out our guest? Ladies and gentlemen, from the County of Rock, in the town of Luverne, I would like to welcome Vance Walgrave.
All right. Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here. You know, I'm curious. Did you have a company, but the company's called Those Blasted Things? I'm just curious. How'd that all come about? The name and the company and all that.
Well, it started out about 25 years ago. My wife Becky and I started a memorial company, Cemetery Memorials, Luverne Monuments. And we bought the equipment to sandblast, do memorials. And when we saw what it could do, the creative side kind of took over. And we started blasting a lot of yard rocks, small rocks, big rocks, and everything else like that. And when we opened in our location here, this one here 10 years ago, we thought, okay, if we call it Luverne Monuments, no one's going to come into our rock shop.
That's a good
And
point.
if we call it Those Blasted Things, who's going to buy a monument called Those Blasted Things?
True.
So we are two names in the same location.
Oh, okay.
okay.
All right, that makes sense.
So totally, how many years have you been in business? The memorial
For 25 years.
25 and the blasted things
For 10 years. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Interesting.
Now, I'm still curious. How did you happen to get into this business?
Into the rock side?
Yes.
I was one of these little boys that always came home with pockets full of rocks. And now I have bigger rocks. And yet, my wife and I, in the wintertime, close our store for a month. And we travel all over the Southwest. And we collect rocks, truckloads of rocks.
Oh, really?
Wow.
And we haul them back to our store, so everything is personally picked out. And yet, when I walk down to the Rock River on a sandbar or something like that, I still come home with pockets full of rocks. And most of them are Luverites.
Really?
My dad always said, leave it right where you found it.
Luverites, I like that.
That's really interesting. Now, I've heard that you have some really unusual items in your store. Outside of the rocks that you were talking about, fossils and even meteorites?
Yep.
Really?
And now, how do you make that decision of what to put in your store?
It is a case of my wife and I only buy stuff we think is really cool.
Sally Sue just mentioned that there are unusual things in your store. What are some of the most unusual you have in your store?
For one, a woolly mammoth tooth.
You're kidding me. That's a
Yeah.
tooth? Wait a minute.
I thought it was a crown. Well, tooth, crown.
This
Could
way?
be.
This is the chew side.
Look, it's so rough.
Wow.
And we also have woolly mammoth tusks.
Is that what this
and
came out of as well, was a woolly
That
mammoth?
was a woolly mammoth.
Really?
Yeah.
And you have the tusks too.
Yep. And I have part of one right here. Right there.
Oh,
And you can
goodness.
see from the wear on here, from the animals rubbing against trees.
Now,
Wow.
has this been polished, or is that just the way it rubbed?
It's that the wear down has been from the woolly mammoth.
That's what
Yeah, it has been polished up a little bit, cleaned
Wow.
up.
But not much. It's
Not
pretty
much.
much.
Another item that is kind of that we have among many things is this is a pretty piece of jewelry.
Jewelry.
Of
like
course,
jewelry.
of course.
Oh, look. Oh. Well,
And
now what kind of rock is that?
that is coprolite,
Oh,
It's
that's
what again?
Very pretty.
coprolite,
Coprolite.
also known as dinosaur poop. Petrified dinosaur poop.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm curious as well. Do you actually go and find these when you take your trip to the Southwest, or are these found and then you acquire them? How does that work?
Most of the stuff we get is at the big rock shows down.
That's interesting. You're in Rock County, Minnesota, and you buy rocks. And buy the semi-load, no less.
Yes, we do.
Amazing.
What kind of rocks do you have?
Well, besides buying a lot of the Sioux quartzite rocks that are indigenous to Rock County, we haul in rocks from the Colorado River, from Arizona. If we see something, some really unique flagstone, it's not unusual to buy a whole semi-load, and we sell landscaping.
Oh,
rock then
sure.
Also.
Okay.
Well, now, rumor has it that you also make jewelry with the beads and other materials.
Right.
And that Becky and Katie will actually create pieces for special occasions like proms or weddings.
Yeah,
Is that true?
Right there on the spot.
Really?
And Katie is our daughter, and she works at our store also. We're a ma and pa business, and they have this huge arrangement of unusual beads and gemstones and things like that.
Nice.
And they will sometimes they'll sit right down there and lay them out for the people. You like it this way, that way.
Oh, how fun.
And put them together.
That makes
in the
it very,
earrings and
very special. then,
Very
the whole-
unique and very
yes.
personal.
Yes,
That's wonderful.
Nice. That's nice.
I'm curious. Luverne Monuments, Cemetery, and War Memorials is part of your business also, okay?
Correct.
So how large of a territory does that cover? And tell us a little bit more about that side of the business.
the memorial site.
Right.
We travel, most of our business is done within 100 miles on the memorials, cemetery memorials, but we go out a lot further on request. I've hauled them clear to Illinois because people have seen the Sioux quartzite memorials that we make, which they can't get anyplace else in the world. And that'll grab people's attention. The war memorials, we've done 2 of them in the last year and a half, one up in Holland, Minnesota, and one in Hardwick, Minnesota. So we get around.
You know, I've noticed that memorials are getting more and more personal. What types of things are people asking for on their memorials?
It used to be, if you go in the older parts of the cemeteries, you'll see a lot of religious epitaphs and things like this. Maybe a lamb on there as a graphic.
Sure.
Now you'll see more, a lot of people with their portraits on there.
Oh, I saw that at a cemetery, local
I had not seen that. That's interesting.
I thought that was interesting.
And if a person loves to fish, you might see somebody catching a fish on one of these memorials.
Nice.
And
I think that is nice.
It kind of tells a story.
Heaven forbid that I should reach an early demise, but I would prefer. Well, that could happen. It could happen, but I would prefer that it not get too personal on my memorial. And I don't know if they'd have a broad enough backscape to put everything that I'd like on there. So moving right along.
That's scary. Okay.
All right, changing subjects altogether here. Rumor has it that you donated space for an information center. Tell us about that.
Right. When we purchased this property, it was an old gas station.
Oh, okay.
And we cleaned it up as much as possible, but you know what a gas station always looks like, a gas station.
True.
So we completely refaced the front of the building. We put a boardwalk out there and a porch and everything, and it's all out of recycled highline poles. Cedar site.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And we designated an area there for the Chamber of Commerce and the city and us kind of went together, and this one area there is going to be an information center. So people coming off the interstate, we're half a block off the interstate, can come to this thing, and it'll be, the information part of it will be open 24/7, and people can find whatever in town they want without having to drive around town.
Yeah. I wanted to also look at that.
That is beautiful. You can
that
see through
pretty?
that, yes.
It's a meteorite splash.
Really?
Yeah.
It looks like a leaf when you hold it up to the light.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Some of
It's
these
very
meteorites hit the ground with a force of a nuclear bomb, and they threw immense amounts of sand and debris up into the atmosphere, where it solidified and came raining down again.
And that's what that would be?
That's what that is.
Vance, question for you. In addition to the items that you brought here today and that we've seen, do you sell, I understand that you have other gifts in your store. Do you have anything of a clothing possibly that goes along with some of the other things that you sell?
You mean for you?
Well, that would be nice. Sure. I had to drop the hint.
Of course.
Well,
for you. You have a dressing room, you have a limo, you have an expensive...
Sally
Yeah,
Sue, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes, we did bring some T-shirts for you
All
guys.
right. Thank you.
For
Thank
the
you.
studio audience out there. And
Wow. Everybody gets one. Wow. Outstanding.
Thank you.
Oh,
and this is-
Hooters of Minnesota. That really, I think
it's got
I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. Yes.
Oh.
I love that.
And do you have other souvenirs too in your store?
yes, we've got. You want yours right now?
I sure do.
Okay.
I don't want Sally Sue to get.
Just grab
Sally
that?
Sue gets her hands on it. I'll never get it back. Wow, is that
And
cool?
that's such a good color.
Oh, it is. It is. Thank you.
We have a lot of souvenirs in there that, including shot glasses, Minnesota glass.
Not that I usually just drink sarsaparilla out of a shot glass, but that's good to know.
Beer
Yes, you
mugs, a lot of souvenirs that we have actually made ourselves.
That's what I
with
wondered.
Minnesota rocks.
Okay. That's
Really
very
nice.
good.
These are really nice.
They are very
We're
nice
not
shirts.
giving it back.
Okay, fine. Be that
So, well, Vance, it's been so good to have you
Yes.
with us today. Is there anything else that you would like to share? How can people get a hold of you in Luverne?
way. Yes.
All you have to do is pull off the interstate, and there's a great big huge buffalo. And,
okay.
Okay.
and we're right there.
Okay.
Just
So right off that first exit.
The only exit.
The only
Into Luverne.
exit. Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
Can't miss us.
Wonderful.
Outstanding.
Well,
Great.
it's been great, and we hope that all of our viewers will stop in and see you and Becky and Katie, and we must make a trip over there.
I think it's a great idea. I love this. I think
do
it's
too.
great. I was a little concerned these woolly mammoths were walking around Sweet Swine County. I'm a little bit happy to know
They're outside.
they're outside Sweet Swine County. Yes.
They were here, though.
I believe that, but they migrated south, and we're very appreciative of that.
That was great.
It was.
Was very interesting. Well, Vance, we'd love to thank you for being with us today as our guest, and we hope that many of our viewers will go visit Luverne monuments and those blasted things. We would also like to thank our viewers for watching our show, the Cocklebur Morning Show, where we read out the big stories throughout Sweet Swine County. Bye-bye.
Bye now.